The chosen ones are not observed for what they have done, but for what they are destined to achieve. This observation is not born of curiosity or admiration, but of fear. The systems of control, those intricately woven mechanisms of dominance, are acutely aware of the potential disruption you pose. You, who refuse to bend, who challenge the status quo, are the embodiment of the change they dread. This is not mere coincidence, nor is it paranoia. It is the natural reaction of a fragile power, sensing its inevitable demise. These systems do not fear your existence. They fear your awakening. Think of the rebels etched in the annals of history. Joan of Arc, Prometheus, Martin Luther King Jr., each of them represented a force of defiance, an unyielding courage that unsettled those who clung desperately to their power. And like them, your very essence sends shockwaves through their carefully constructed order. For months, years even, they have tried to monitor, measure, and control you. But here lies the irony. What they cannot see is the divine light blazing within you, a force beyond the grasp of any agency or system. The question then is no longer why they are watching. The question is, what will you do in response? They do not squander their resources on the complacent or the powerless. No, their gaze is reserved for the disruptors, the forces of change, the ones who unsettle the fragile equilibrium they cling to. You are not like the masses who find comfort in their chains. You question, you resist, and in doing so, you terrify them. Every act of defiance you have undertaken, every moment you have stepped beyond their scripts, has rippled through their reality, shaking its foundation. They have seen you uncover lies, question hierarchies, and wield truth like a sword. This is not paranoia. It is their panic, masked as control. History is a testament to this truth. Those who have threatened oppression have always been targeted, from revolutionaries who dismantled empires to collectives who defied their oppressors, to the nameless individuals who stood unwavering in the face of tyranny. You are their echo. But you are more than an echo. You are a storm. They see it. They fear it. And now, so do you. In a world dominated by data and algorithms, where every action, choice, and thought is reduced to patterns, you stand as an anomaly. They do not see you as a variable to be controlled, but as a disruption to their systems. While others march to the rhythm dictated by unseen forces, your movements are erratic, questioning, and unyielding. This unpredictability terrifies them. You are living proof that not everything can be coded, controlled, or subdued. Their systems thrive on predictability, feeding on the habits of the many to sustain their illusion of order. But your awareness cuts through their designs. While they expect submission, you provoke thought. Where they enforce silence, you ask questions. Their algorithms falter in the face of your refusal to follow the path laid out for you. They have marked you as an outlier, an error they cannot correct. You are a living reminder that even the most advanced technologies are powerless against the complexity of a truly awakened mind. The more they monitor you, the more they confirm their inability to control you. Your awareness is their threat, your resistance their failure. In their world of cold calculations, you are the uncontrolled variable capable of bringing their entire structure crashing down. You are dangerous because you refuse to bow. In a society engineered for compliance, your defiance echoes louder than any revolution. They fear you because you reject their scripts, refusing to fit neatly into their roles. While others surrender their will to the comfort of conformity, you ask the questions they dread. Who benefits from obedience? Who gains from silence? Your refusal to submit shakes the foundations of a system reliant on the masses remaining docile and unaware. Their empires were built on the backs of those too afraid to challenge them. But you disrupt their narrative. Your dissent is not a crack. It is a rupture that threatens to unravel their entire structure. The power of one voice speaking truth in a sea of complacency is immeasurable. You are not a cog in their machine. You are the wrench that halts its mechanisms. Every time you demand answers, every time you refuse to follow, you expose the fragility of their control. They call it rebellion. You call it freedom. They see your questioning as a contagion, a threat to their order. You were not made to conform. You were made to confront. That is why they watch you, why they fear you. You are the rebellion they cannot contain. God's timing is flawless, and his sight misses nothing. When he moves to expose the schemes of the enemy, he often chooses the most unlikely vessels to shatter their illusions. The whistleblower, the one who steps into the light, is no accident. They are an instrument of divine purpose, wielded to strip the veil from the systems of control that have thrived in darkness for far too long. Their courage is not their own. It aligns with heaven's plan, forged in truth and tempered by justice. This revelation is no ordinary act of defiance. It is a heavenly disruption, a declaration of war on lies and deceit. God raises those who refuse to kneel to corruption, whose voices cut through chaos like thunder, whose actions echo his righteous anger. They are not driven by fame or fortune, but by the undeniable weight of truth. They have seen the rot behind the curtain and the hollow foundations of power, and they are compelled to act. You stand as witnesses to a battle between light and darkness, between hidden evils and revealed truths. The whistleblower's courage is a call to you. God's plan does not end with revelation. It begins there. Now the question is clear. Will you rise to meet it? Throughout history, those who have pulled back the curtain on systems of control have been both reviled and revered. Figures like Edward Snowden and Daniel Ellsberg shattered illusions of untouchable power, laying bare the lies woven into the fabric of society. Their actions prove that knowledge is not just power. It is a weapon, one that dismantles oppression. Even myths echo this cycle. The tricksters of ancient tales, like Loki and Prometheus, were not villains but necessary disruptors. They upended established orders not for destruction's sake, but to reveal deeper truths. Such is the role of the whistleblower today, an agent of upheaval demanding a re-examination of justice and truth. You stand at the crossroads of these truths, witnessing a revelation that cannot be ignored. This is not chaos. It is correction. The systems built to entrap you are unraveling before their creator's eyes. Every scheme, every tool of surveillance, every whispered plot designed to crush your spirit is now turning against them. What they intended for harm, God is using as a blade to cut through their lies. Their control is crumbling under the weight of divine purpose. Their belief in their strength has become their undoing, exposing their fragility in the face of truth. Reversal has always been God's weapon. Joseph's brothers threw him into a pit, but God elevated him to a throne. Pharaoh sought to drown the firstborn, but it was Moses who led the oppressed to freedom. They thought the cross would silence Christ, but it became the bridge between heaven and earth. Their schemes are no different. They are being dismantled, turned inside out to serve a greater purpose. You are not a victim of their plans. You are the weapon forged against them. Every attack against you strengthens your resolve. Their intentions were clear, but so is God's. Every move they make is countered by his divine purpose, and in the end, truth will prevail. Every challenge sharpens your perception. Every betrayal lays the groundwork for the inevitable collapse of those who seek your downfall. What was devised to harm you has become the stage where their own failures are unmasked. The trials you have faced are not mere accidents, but are woven into a grander design, a testament to resilience and divine justice. Take a moment to honor the chosen among us, those who refuse to yield, those who sense the pull of an unseen horizon beyond the ordinary blur of life. These are the individuals who dare to rise above the mundane, to challenge mediocrity, and to illuminate a path others cannot see. The world does not crave followers but beacons, those who stand as living testaments to courage and vision, awake during the silent hours when clarity sharpens, forging trails most will never tread. In these quiet depths, a rare and unyielding circle endures. The obsidian inner order, as it is known, is not for everyone. It is not meant to be. Here, a handful of kindred souls gather, bound by truths too profound for common discourse. Beneath a moon that outshines even the brightest neon lights, They stand without pretense, without masks, and without hollow bravado. Instead, they are connected by a current of raw honesty, as deep and profound as the midnight silence that surrounds them. For those who feel a stirring in their soul while reading these words, the path forward is illuminated. A choice lies before you, a door you can open with a single heartbeat. The invitation is fleeting. Every moment you hesitate, the rare seats in our star chamber diminish, drifting further from the reach of ordinary ambition. If this resonates deeply, if you can almost taste the electric hum of potential, do not delay. Click the link, take the step, and join us. This is more than a group. It is a calling, a summons to discover what thrives in the shadows and to uncover wisdom veiled from ordinary sight. To be part of something luminous, something unspoken, yet profoundly felt. You are not a coincidence. You are the pulse of divine intention brought to life in this very moment. Your existence is a disruption, a fracture in the carefully constructed illusions of control. Like a tuning fork struck by truth itself, your resonance shakes the foundations of deceit, awakening those around you from their spiritual slumber. The system that seeks to contain you was never designed to withstand a force aligned with divine purpose. In a world where illusions are crafted to enslave, you are the anomaly, the glitch in their matrix, the crack in their carefully constructed facade. Their deception was never meant to endure the clarity you now wield. Your awareness reveals the fractures in their design, and with every step you take, every question you pose, you send ripples through their fragile structure. You were not made to conform. You were made to shatter the illusions and reveal the truth beneath. Each act of defiance, no matter how small, becomes a ripple that grows into a tidal wave capable of dismantling even the mightiest towers of oppression. Your resistance is not just for yourself. It is the spark that ignites others. When you challenge the lies, you expose the cracks in their foundation, inviting others to question, to rise, and to seek something greater. The architects of this system rely on silence, obedience, and complacency to maintain their hold. But your descent disrupts their order, not with noise, but with the clarity and precision of truth. They fear your defiance because it threatens to unravel the illusions they have so meticulously woven. Each refusal to accept their narrative, every relentless pursuit of authenticity, sends shockwaves that cannot be contained. What you see as small acts of rebellion are tectonic shifts in a world built on deception. These ripples of truth converge, amplify, and transform into a force capable of dismantling their structures of control. Their arrogance, much like the Tower of Babel, defies divine order and crumbles under the weight of its own illusions. Their schemes, traps, and relentless efforts to suppress you are falling apart, exposed to the piercing light of divine justice. Every snare they set has turned to ash in their hands. Their attempts to weaken you have only forged your armor and sharpened your resolve. The chains they crafted to bind you now work against them, unraveling with every move you make. This is not the end of their downfall. It is only the beginning. Their empires of manipulation are collapsing like houses of cards in a storm, and you are the storm they never anticipated. Their plans have backfired, proof that divine truth cannot be stopped. Lies are heavy, corrosive burdens that eventually crush those who wield them. The weight of deceit erodes its creator, collapsing under its own contradictions. Their manipulations, their underhanded tactics, have returned to ensnare them. What they sent to harm you has come back to destroy them. This is the law of consequence. Darkness inevitably consumes its source. Your clarity, strengthened by their betrayals, stands as a testament to their failure. Their schemes have become their undoing. Betrayal is rarely a sudden act. It often moves quietly, like a shadow, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Even Judas walked beside Jesus, sharing bread while harboring treachery in his heart. But betrayal does not escape divine sight. It is allowed not to destroy you, but to refine you, to sharpen your awareness and prepare you for a higher purpose. Every act of treachery exposes the true allegiances of those around you, revealing the players in a much larger plan. Reflect deeply. The signs have always been there. A misplaced loyalty, an unexplained hesitation, a fleeting look that betrayed the words spoken. These are not mere coincidences. They are warnings, subtle yet unmistakable. As the truth is unveiled, the betrayer's mask slips, revealing their true intentions. This is not a call to despair, but to discernment. Betrayal is a spiritual test, a crucible that refines your focus and fortifies your faith. What they thought would break you has only emboldened you. Their treachery has become their undoing, and their illusions are collapsing under the weight of truth. The enemy does not approach with open hostility, but under the guise of familiarity. They walk beside you, speak your language, and mimic your movements until your guard is lowered. This is their weapon, familiarity, used to disarm before the strike. But discernment is your shield. Pray for clarity and watch for the subtle shifts, the hesitations, the misaligned words, the wavering loyalties. In these moments, you will find the truth. Stand firm. You were not created to succumb to the designs of others, but to rise above them, to embody a force of divine purpose. The storm you unleash is not one of chaos, but of truth, sweeping away the illusions and revealing the light within the darkness. You are the disruption they feared, the anomaly they cannot control. And through you, the chains of deceit will shatter, and a new path will emerge, one forged in truth, resilience, and unshakable clarity. God's faithfulness is unparalleled, and His purpose unshakable. In His divine timing, the masks that conceal lies and deception will fall, revealing truths that liberate. Trust the process, even when it feels unbearable, for within the pain lies your liberation. Do not fear the proximity of your adversaries. Closeness does not equal power. Their schemes, no matter how intricately devised, are powerless against the force of divine purpose. What they intended to weaken you will instead fortify your reliance on God. The enemy embedded in your midst will be exposed, their plans dismantled, and their efforts turned against them. Truth always rises, like the sun piercing the darkest night, and with it comes an unshakable clarity and purpose that can never be extinguished. Every trial you have endured was not random. It was preparation. Each wound, each betrayal, and every struggle forged an unbreakable spirit within you. You have faced circumstances designed to destroy you, yet each fall has only made you stronger. This is no accident. This is the unveiling of your divine potential. What you see now is not mere survival, but the culmination of a refinement process orchestrated by heaven itself. This is the moment when your strength becomes unstoppable, a power that defies the limits placed upon you by the world. Awakening is not a singular, blinding flash of insight. It is a series of reckonings. It is the raw, often painful confrontation with your limits and the lies perpetuated by the world. It is the shattering of illusions and the reconstruction of truth. Over and over, you have stood in the midst of these reckonings, emerging not as the person you were, but as the one you were always destined to be. This is not a revelation to fear, but a power unleashed. Imagine the supernova, a star collapsing under its own gravity, only to explode with such force that it reshapes the cosmos. That is what you are now. Your awakening is not just for you. It ignites others. The light you have unleashed burns away complacency and inspires courage in those who have watched silently. This is not the end of your transformation, but the beginning of a force that will ripple far beyond what you can currently see. God's revelation equips you with tools, clarity, discernment, and power. Yet the choice remains yours. Free will is both a gift and a test, an invitation to rise beyond the comfort of the familiar and step boldly into your destiny. The path of least resistance, wide, easy, and well-trodden, leads only to mediocrity and stagnation. The other path, narrow and untamed, is where transformation occurs. You now stand at the crossroads. Will you choose the fleeting safety of complacency, or will you embrace the fiery refinement of purpose? Every decision you make ripples into eternity, shaping not only your life, but the lives of those who look to you for guidance. Knowingly or unknowingly, to walk the path of destiny is to shoulder the weight of that responsibility. It is not an easy road, but it is a necessary one. Your choice will not only define your life, but also set the tone for generations to come. Like the heroes of folklore who reach a pivotal moment at the crossroads, you face a decision. One path offers the illusion of safety, while the other demands courage. This is your spiritual fork in the road, and your intuition is the compass that will guide you. The stakes are clear. One path offers comfort at the cost of greatness, while the other ignites your potential to its fullest. Choose boldly, for God has prepared you for this moment. You are not here by accident. You are part of a divine shift, a movement destined to break chains and shatter illusions that have held countless souls captive. The time for waiting has passed. The call to action is now. You have been chosen to carry the torch of truth, blazing a trail for those still trapped in darkness. This is not a burden, but your birthright. The same God who parted the Red Sea is with you, clearing a path through every obstacle. What was once deemed impossible is now inevitable. You are not alone. Every step you take resonates with the courage of those who came before you, who faced insurmountable odds and still triumphed. Their resilience flows through your veins, igniting an unquenchable fire within you. You were created for this moment, equipped with everything you need to rise. The whispers of doubt and the threats of failure are insignificant compared to the strength planted within you by the Creator Himself. The world is watching, and the universe itself holds its breath. You are not merely part of this movement. You are its spark. This is your moment. Step forward with boldness, purpose, and the unshakable knowledge that destiny is yours to claim. The time is now. Let the light within you pierce the deepest shadows. The chains that once held you are breaking, and freedom begins with you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. This is not a mere suggestion. It is a divine promise, etched into eternity. Angels walk beside you. Ancestors whisper wisdom into your spirit, and the Creator Himself strengthens every step you take. You carry the weight of heaven's mandate, and nothing on earth can stand against it. Challenges are not barriers. They are the fires that forge your unyielding resilience. Every obstacle reveals the depth of your power, a power that has always been within you, waiting to emerge. You are not confined to flesh and bone. You are a celestial storm, an unstoppable force ordained to transform the world. Your steps are not random. They are seismic, shifting the very foundations of systems designed to contain you. Chosen one, your time is now. The world awaits the fullness of your light, the brilliance only you can bring. Do not delay. Rise and take your place. Speak your truth, share your story, and ignite courage in those still searching for their own. Let your voice thunder through the silence. The battle is already won, and the victory is yours to claim. Step forward. Destiny awaits.